Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's day 3 on this job. It's Wednesday. Not quite as chilly today. It's supposed to hit, I think, mid-80s later on. Earlier in this week, it's been freezing cold, 30 degrees in the morning. Today it's doable, so that's nice. We decided to put the pipe on the truck. That way it makes a little bit less work for me walking back and forth. So we're planning on starting here where we left off yesterday. We left the end of our pipe taped up and exposed so we could connect onto it. Sorry about that. Couldn't say my words there, guys. And we're riding along that 4-inch conduit we found yesterday as well. Ed's doing a little bit of clearing. Keep the paint on that cat nice and clean. Not all scratched up. So guys, we ran into our first problem of the day. We found a big old rock here that's right in the way, and we obviously can't get through and get next to it. And there's no way we're getting away with going on top of that. The one that's already there is maybe 24 inches below grade. So Ed's gonna try to dig up the other side of this rock to see if we can go around it. If not, we're gonna try to see if we can move the rock, and if that all doesn't work, we'll have to call the PM and come up with a game plan on what they want to do. That rock there's a little too big for that thing.
Yeah.
Well, time to call the project manager and see what the game plan
There's
is.
no way by it. You know what I mean? Their pipe is right against the rock. I tried to dig to the other side of the rock. I am 7 feet away, and I'm still on that same rock. It's enormous. I mean, from the looks of it right now, what I'm looking at, the rock that I'm dealing with is about 15 feet long and 7 feet wide, but I haven't reached my full depth, so that means it's going to keep getting wider.
Sure, yeah.
And their conduit that we're following, like, we haven't been able to get our full depth the last 50 feet because there's more conduits underneath, and so we're following the one on top, but getting our conduit to the side of it, and the top of our conduit is the bottom of their conduit. You know what I mean? So we're a good 4 inches below.
Yeah.
So after talking with our project manager, he got on the phone with the customer that gave us the work, and they came up with a game plan. And what they came up with is just to go over the top of the rock rather than going around it or hammering it out. And what we're going to do is heat the pipe on either side. That way we can get a nice arch in the pipe to go over top of that rock. We could use fittings, but Ed and myself both agree that the fittings You open up yourself the problems with the couplings coming apart or breaking because they're on a hinge point on the rock. So that's the game plan we came up with. This pipe heated up and bent over top of the rock. We use a heat blanket. Kind of a handy tool for us to always have on the truck. We got about 120 feet in the ground so far. Now we did find another unmarked conduit. Looks like another 4-inch. It's not the one we saw earlier. Looks like we're gonna have to go directly on top of that one. We got our pull box all in. We ended up using 90s rather than 45s. Worked out better. Now I still have to put this one in here. I already have it all together. It's about 15 feet in length, and what Ed's gonna do is dig out 20 feet and then he'll backfill this pipe here. That way when I'm going to push against it by myself, it doesn't want to move and the 90 doesn't want to spin.
We got about, I guess, 300 feet to go. And, man, it's been a tough dig. All kinds of utilities in the ground. A lot of them aren't marked. You don't know what you're coming into next. So that makes it difficult. You don't want to dig anything up, or if you do, costing you more than you'll ever make. You hit something, man, they'll be out here on overtime fixing it. They'll send more crews than they even need to do it, and you're paying the whole bill. I've seen it happen. It's never happened to me, but I've seen it happen. It gets expensive. So the way I dig for these utilities is not like you would typically dig a trench. I more comb through the ground, trying to take like an inch, sometimes less at a time. And I always try and dig flat. Like you'll see back there further, I still got to take more out, but I'll go back and get that, because that way I know that I'm clear. Where I'm digging right now, I pulled flags and paint off the ground, which means I had utilities marked out. You can see right there where my bucket is, that's red. There was a flag there. So even though this ground feels feels like it's virgin soil. You never know. And I could pull a rock and end up cutting a wire with a rock and never even see it. So if I dig nice and flat, the way I'm digging, there's less of a chance of me damaging anything. Typically when you're digging with a hoe, it's more of a, you come through and you curl up through like that. And you're constantly digging like that. Well, I more comb it and then sweep it off the side of the ditch. So see, I generated some soil here. I just sweep it to the side. That way I try and cut down on that curling my bucket motion as much as possible. See, I go back to get where my grade needs to be, and I'll comb that down. That way I got a good view of what's in the ground at all times. When Brandon's back there, he can see exactly what's being done. There's no guesswork. I mean, we've already found 4 conduits on this job that were not marked at all, and we crossed them, I guess, perpendicular, and that's when you're going to tear a conduit out the quickest. If you're running with a conduit, there's a lot less chance of tearing it out.
Alright guys, we have about 200 feet, a little over 200 feet of pipe in the ground right now. I'm laying it outside the ditch because we're doing these long sweeps around some of these trees. We're planning on getting one more stick on and calling it good for today. Backfilling, compacting, seeding, strawing, getting the site back together. Now tomorrow we're gonna have 200 more feet of pipe to do. The rock's been pretty aggressive on this job site. Thank gosh we welded a new plate on it, the 1-foot bucket, because we needed it. And weren't too sure if it was gonna hold up with the little welder like Jason Works a Lot calls it. But it worked pretty good, hasn't broke yet. So that's pretty good. Now right here's the pole we're going to be coming up. I'm not too sure which side of the pole we're going to be on. Probably that side, I'd imagine, maybe not though. Now here we do have a lot of utilities. Same thing. So let's get the backfilling. That are going to be dangerous to the pipe. We're going to get out. So I decided to steal some stone out of the road and do a full stone backfill on this 4-inch pipe. We had to deep get over that rock. Just to help protect it a little bit. And as soon as he's done, I'll get a shovel and chalk that stone in a little bit. Make sure it gets under that pipe. Hey guys, we're on day 4 of this job. Should be done today, we're hoping. We're gonna plan on going and taking this Mini over to another job about 15 minutes away near the Pocono racetrack for a tower that feeds the people that are there, the fans in the stands. Yesterday we got everything that we pretty much got done yesterday, seeded and strawed, except for this last, I don't know, 40-50 foot area. We have about 200 feet of pipe left to do today. So I think that's doable. Hopefully we kind of get away from the rock today. Not too sure if we're gonna or not. Stick with us and let's get this. Go. As the plate just snaps. So we ran into a lot of obstacles today so far, putting in this 4-inch pipe, and we kind of have to snake it in between these rocks. Any of the points on the rocks I chipped off with the hammer. So Ed and I are going to have to do this together. Backfilling, might have to use the bar, kind of pry the pipe over to get it where we want it. Now, where we're digging at now, we may run into a little bit of an issue. We can't obviously go that way to the outside of the gate. There's just too much in the way, that big rock, that big tree. Now, the existing utilities are also right next to that pole where we're trying to go. So we don't know if we're gonna be deep enough or what. So we're gonna find out. Flip on one, rides the pipe and gets right on it with the bucket. Pipe in and stubbed up to the pole. We're planning on backfilling opposite of what we normally do, just so we can get around all these obstacles we talked about earlier. On that side there's really nothing to get around, so we're going to focus over here, getting it weaved in between these rocks and roots and everything else we found. Well guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Ed and myself are headed to another job now. Now that this one's all done, we got our strings in, seated and strolled. This was a stone parking lot, so once that mud washes off, you'll never know it. Same thing with the driveway here, that'll all wash away. We got it all seed installed all the way back. So guys, again, we really appreciate your support. Keep on tuning in. Thank you.